All right, today we're going to talk about rational numbers. Rational numbers are any number that can be written in the form of a over b, where b does not equal 0. I believe math is a language, and as with any other language, we need to know the vocabulary associated with it. So any number is rational if it can be written in the form of a fraction. This fraction bar shows us that it's a fraction, but it also means a divided by b, which is why b cannot equal 0, because we cannot divide any number by 0. It's not possible. Okay, we just talked about that, and here we are again. Next one. Fractions and repeating and terminating decimals are rational numbers. You can easily convert a terminating decimal, that means a decimal that ends, so it's very discrete, like 0.5. You can turn that into a decimal by dividing the number by the place value, and we'll show you a little bit. There's a formula, there's a method to convert repeating decimals to fractions as well. Now, there's some other things we need to know about fractions before we get into it. Fractions and decimals represent parts of whole numbers, and I took the liberty of drawing a number line that only has 1 and 2. We have 1 and it goes to 2. But in this vastness between 1 and 2, we have all kind of parts. We can have 1 1/4, we can have 1 1/2, we can have 1.75, we can have 1.9. There are a whole lot of parts between the two, and fractions and decimals are how we represent parts of the whole in math. Now, I did say fractions can be converted to decimals, and I said just do the math, and the reason why I said just do the math is because although this can be read as 3/4, the operation here is division. This is 3 divided by 4. So if we take our numerator and we make it our dividend, and we take our denominator and make it our divisor, now we have a division problem where we can solve. We know that 4 does not go into 3 evenly, so I can put a place value, I can put something up here to hold. I can put a 0 up there if I want to. I'm using x just to prove a point. Then we go 4 goes into 30. Well, one of the things that I need you to work on if you're not strong in multiplication and division is your multiplication facts, because you will need to be able to multiply and divide, and you can skip count, and I covered that in a previous lesson, but I'll do it right here one more time. I know that I'm going to have to use 4, and I need to go 4 to go into 30, so I'm going to skip count. I'm going to do 4, and then in my head I'm going to go 4 plus 4 is 8, and then 8 plus 4 is 12. 12 plus 4 is 16. 16 plus 4 is 20. Then I have 24, then 28, then 32. I'm going to stop at 32 because I'm comparing my 32 to 30, and I know that 32 is greater than 30. So 4 goes into 30 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If you have some issues, if you're not fluent in your multiplication facts, you can use your scratch paper and skip count. And like I told one student the other day, once you do this, I don't have to worry about skip counting with 4 unless I get something that's greater than 32. 4 times 7 is 28. 30 minus 28 is 2. I have to borrow from that and make it 10. So that becomes a 2, that becomes 10. 8, 10 minus 8 is 2. I bring down a 0. 4 times what is 20? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I already skipped counting, so I just have to count it. It's 5. I bring down 4 times 5 is 20. 20 minus 20 is 0. There are no remainders. I'm done. This converts to 0.75. And I'm just doing this to show you that it can. We'll go over this again in another lesson. Now, I also need to tell you that decimals can be converted into fractions by using the place value of the last digit. And again, I do have an example, and this is our introductory, so let me go ahead and get this right. There's our example. I wrote my place value. I told you can use your scratch paper and use the red line and the blue line, so you don't have to try and draw your place value chart because it's already there, and so it saves you a little bit of time and you can use it over again. I have 2 and 35 hundredths. And what you do here, when you have this number, you want to convert that to a fraction. All you do is the last place value of the number 5 is in the hundredths column. I take this as my denominator. So I rewrite it as 235 divided by 100 because that's what that means. And it is the number without the decimal point divided by the place value of the last number. And this means division. So this reminds us that we're doing division. Once we get that, we turn this into a division problem. My denominator becomes my divisor. My numerator becomes my dividend. I go ahead and do the math. I know that I can get nothing out of 2, nothing out of 3. Out of 235, I get 2. 2 times 100 is 200. 235 minus 200, 5 minus 0 is 5. 3 minus 0 is 3. 2 minus 2 is 0. I can put a 0 there. I can exit out. It doesn't really matter. But I'm not going to use a decimal point because we just had a decimal point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my quotient and I'll make that my whole number. And then I'm going to take my remainder. I'm going to make that my numerator. And then I'm going to keep my divisor as my denominator. Okay. And that tells me how to rewrite it properly. So 2 is my quotient. 35 is my remainder. 100 is my divisor and also my denominator. So I keep my denominator. And that would be the answer when I convert 2 35 hundredths to a fraction, just to show you that it can be done. All right, we'll talk about that and go over the fraction song in a minute. I don't know what I'm going to do. I do know I'm going to do something